The misfire, the stars above Elros 9 were calm. The small farming colony lived in peace. Crops grew tall, rivers flowed clear, and the people smiled. Elros 9 was far from the war zones, far from politics, and far from danger. Or so they thought. Inside the colony's central tower, a young alien named Laro was working late. He was small, with green skin and nervous hands. He checked the satellite controls, humming quietly to himself. The signal relay was blinking. He had seen it before, but today something was strange. A nearby system had reported pirate ships moving close to their sector. Laro had been told not to worry. Elros 9 wasn't important enough to be attacked, but Laro was scared. He typed a few commands into the console. Just a precaution. A simple peace request. Something to let the Peace Council know they might need. Help. He didn't mean to press send to Earth. But he did. The message launched into space silent, fast and desperate. It traveled far beyond its target. It reached a system few dared to contact. It reached Earth. In the morning, Elder Tarn stood before the screen, frowning. You did what? He asked slowly, his voice cold. I just sent a peace request, sir. I thought it would go to the council. I didn't know the signal would bounce, Laro said, shaking. Bounce where? Laro looked down. Terran space. The room went silent. Everyone in the tower froze. Terran space. Deathworld territory. Tarn's face turned pale. No one contacts Earth. Laro whispered, I didn't mean to. That evening, the wind on Elros 9 felt different. Colder. The sky, once bright and open, now had a strange shimmer. A small child looked up and asked, Why is the sun covered? The shadows grew longer. Then the sound came, a low hum in the air. Like thunder trapped in metal. Tarn stood at the edge of the colony with the others. Farmers, workers, soldiers, all staring up. Something was falling from the sky. Not one. Many. Black shapes, huge ships cut through the clouds without sound. They had no lights, no symbols, no signals. Just silent steel moving like predators. Hundreds of them. Tarn's heart raced. Get the defense team. Try to contact them. Tell them we're peaceful. The communication towers tried. No reply. No greetings. No demands. Just the warfleet. Waiting above them. Then one small dropship broke away from the fleet. It descended slowly and landed in the center of the colony. The people backed away. No one dared move. The ship's ramp hissed open. A single human stepped out. Tall. Armored. His helmet was black, with no face visible. He held no weapon, but he didn't need one. His presence was enough. He looked around at the quiet colony. The air felt heavy. Tarn stepped forward, holding a peace flag and shaking hands. We didn't mean to call you. It was a mistake. We wanted peacekeepers. Not this. The human stood still. Then he spoke. Message received. Tarn blinked. Does that mean you'll leave? The human tilted his head. No, this planet is now under Terran protection. But we didn't ask for that. You sent the signal. We answered. Behind him, more dropships began to land. Soldiers marched out, silent, professional, armored like shadows. New banner was raised over the central tower, black, with a single red symbol, Earth. The people of Elros 9 watched in shock. They were not invaded. They were not harmed. But they were no longer free. Tarn whispered, What have we done? Above them, the sky remained dark. Earth had arrived, and it wasn't going anywhere. Asterisk. The skies darkened. The sun did not rise the next morning on Elros-9, not because of clouds, but because the sky was filled with massive warships, floating like mountains above the colony. The people stood in silence, staring upward. The sky, once wide and bright, was now hidden behind steel and shadows. No one knew how many ships were there. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. No one could count them all. TARN stood near the tower, looking through a scope. Every ship was shaped differently. Some were long like blades. Others were heavy, wide, and built like fortresses. But they all shared one thing: no markings, no colors, just black metal with glowing red lines running down their sides. Laro stood beside him. His voice shook. "Sir, are they angry?" Tarn didn't answer. He didn't know. That was the problem. Earth's fleet said nothing. They had not fired a single shot. They had not hurt anyone. But their silence was louder than Wardot in the center of the colony. The human commander still stood. He hadn't removed his helmet. He hadn't moved far. The aliens had offered him food, shelter, even gifts. He refused them all. He didn't need them. He just watched. When Tarn approached again, the human finally spoke. "This planet is unsecured," the human said. "You were vulnerable. We fixed that." Tarn swallowed hard. "But we never agreed to occupation." The human looked at him. "This isn't occupation. It's insurance." "Insurance?" Tarn asked. "Yes," the man said. "You sent a call." Earth answered. "And now you're safe." Tarn stepped forward. "We want to return to normal. We are not your enemies." The human's voice was calm, almost cold. "Then don't act like one." Hours passed. More Terran soldiers came down in groups. But they didn't walk the streets. They didn't ask questions. They only set up towers, scanners, and strange glowing machines. Laro tried to ask one of them what they were doing. The soldier didn't speak. He only placed a device on the ground. A humming pulse moved through the earth. Later, the colony's own power grid shut off. Lights dimmed. Screens flickered. The Terran machines replaced everything. They had full control now. In the farms outside the city, a farmer named Ina looked up at the sky. Her children asked why the stars were gone. She could not explain. Overhead, 3 long ships moved slowly across the sky. They cast shadows so deep, it felt like night. No one in the colony laughed anymore. Far above Elros 9, inside the largest Terran battleship, Commander Wren watched the surface from a dark chamber. Around him, humans in black armor monitored thousands of signals. One soldier turned. "Sir, the colony is stable. No resistance." Wren nodded. "Begin phase 2. "What about the Council's response?" Wren stared at the screen. "They'll see. They always watch. Let them." The soldier pressed a button. From orbit, small black drones were released. They flew silently across the planet, scanning every inch of it, every field, every home, every life. Wren whispered, "You called Earth for peace, but we are peace through control." Back on the surface, Tarn received a message on his old console. It was short. "Transmission from unknown system. You sent a distress call." Who answered it? "Earth. Withdraw it immediately." "You?" "Don't know what they are." Tarn stared at it. His hand trembled. The Council was watching. Others had seen the fleet. They were afraid, but it was too late. The sky had already turned to steel, and Earth had made its choice. Asterisk. First contact. Rain fell softly on ELROS-9. It should have been. A normal day, quiet and peaceful, but nothing felt normal anymore. The rain didn't wash away the fear. It only made the silence feel heavier. Tarn stood under a shelter near the colony's center. His eyes stayed on the human officer, who still hadn't left. He hadn't removed his helmet. He hadn't slept. He just stood there, watching. The humans had set up towers, scanners, and silent drones. Every corner of the colony was being mapped, every signal controlled. Their machines hummed quietly, but never stopped. Lara whispered, "Why don't they speak to us?" Tarn replied, "Because they didn't come to listen." Just then, something changed. A second dropship arrived, but this one looked different, sleek, silver, and smaller than the others. It landed gently, and its ramp opened with a soft hiss. Out walked another human, but this one was not wearing full armor, just light gear and a helmet with a clear visor. She looked almost friendly. Almost. The female officer stepped forward, her boots clicking on the metal ramp. She scanned the area and walked directly toward Tarn. He stepped forward cautiously, bowing slightly. "Are you the one in command now?" She stopped 1 meter from him. "No," she said. "I am the speaker." Tarn blinked. "Speaker?" She nodded. "My name is Aya. I've been trained to talk to non-Terrans. That is why I'm here." Behind her, 4 more armored humans stood, unmoving. Tarn gathered courage. "Then please, listen. We didn't mean to call Earth. It was a mistake. We needed peacekeepers, not warriors." Aya studied him for a moment. Her eyes were calm, but sharp. "You asked for help," she said, "and Earth does not ignore calls. We came because you were vulnerable. But we didn't want warships." Aya raised a finger. "You didn't get war. You got protection." Tarn's voice rose. "At the cost of our freedom?" Aya stepped closer. "At the cost of nothing yet." From above, a loud boom echoed across the sky. Everyone looked up. A massive Terran ship slowly moved lower. Its sides opened, revealing hundreds of small crafts. Drones. They began to spread out across the skies like dark birds. Tarn's eyes widened. "What are they doing?" Aya didn't look up. "Sweeping for threats. Enemy ships, weapons, signals. We don't have enemies." She finally looked up. "You do now." Tarn froze. "What do you mean?" Aya turned toward the horizon. "The signal you sent didn't just reach us. Others heard it. Raiders, slavers, warlords. They will come." "But the Council." Aya shook her head. "The Council won't get here in time. They talk too much. They wait. Earth does not." Tarn looked down, defeated. Aya's voice softened. "I know this isn't what you expected, but if you want to live through what's coming, stay under our shield." He looked at her. "And if we say no?" Aya didn't smile. "Then we leave. And when they come, they won't knock." Elsewhere on the planet, deep in the forest near the colony's edge, 3 young aliens explored a small ridge. They had ignored the warnings to stay inside. Curiosity pulled them too strongly. Suddenly, the sky shimmered. A strange ship, nothing like the Terran ones, dropped low through the trees. It was dark, spiked, and buzzing with heat. It wasn't human. The children ran. The raiders had arrived. Elrose 9 was now a battlefield waiting to happen. Back in the colony, Tarn's console flashed again. A new message from a nearby system. "Your signal woke them. They're coming. Only Earth can stop what follows." Tarn looked at a Y. She simply nodded. "First contact," she said softly, "was never just about you and us. It's about what follows." The threat revealed, the forest burned. Flames danced through the trees near Elrose 9's edge. As smoke rose into the sky, the raider ship had not waited. It fired before landing, testing how fast the humans would react. They got their answer in seconds. From above, a Terran gunship dropped like a thunderbolt. Twin engines roared. Blue light flashed, and the alien raider ship exploded in midair, shattering into pieces before it ever touched ground. The sky lit up. Back in the colony, Tarn saw the flash and heard the distant boom. His knees grew weak. "They've already arrived," he whispered. A YA stood nearby, holding a small device. The screen showed a map with red marks moving on it. More ships. More danger. The pirates didn't come to talk, she said. They came to take, and they think you're still alone. Tarn looked at her, fear in his voice. How did you know? Aya didn't answer right away. She pressed her earpiece, listening to a message in her language. Then she looked up. We didn't come just because of your signal. Earth has been watching for a long time. Later that evening, in the human command center just outside the colony, a large screen flickered with red dots, each one representing a ship approaching the system. 14 hostile vessels confirmed, the officer said. They're coming in fast. ETA, 1 hour. Commander Wren stood silently at the center of the room, arms crossed. Prepare defense grid. Activate orbital net. No landings. Yes, sir. And if they fire first? Then we erase them, Wren nodded. Good. Send a message to the surface. A hologram appeared in the colony square. Aya's face appeared larger than life. Her voice echoed across Alros 9. To the people of this colony, a threat is coming. You will stay in your homes. Follow Terran orders. Anyone outside without clearance will be treated as hostile. Some aliens protested. Others ran inside. Tarn stood still, staring at the hologram. He didn't know what scared him more, the pirates in space, or the humans who called this a normal response. An hour later, the attack began. The enemy ships came fast, dodging and weaving, shooting plasma rounds at the Terran fleet. But Earth ships didn't move. They waited. And when the enemy got close, they vanished. Terran railguns fired once per target. No noise, no warning. No second shot needed. 14 enemy ships entered orbit. None left. The sky lit up again. This time brighter, louder, heavier. Tarn and others watched from inside a shelter. Children covered their ears. Mothers whispered prayers. Only one's not scared. Where the humans. Aya stood outside, watching calmly. Tarn walked to her, confused and shaking. Is it over? She nodded. For now. But you knew. You knew they would come. Yes? Why didn't you tell? You? She turned to face him. Because you wouldn't have believed us. Tarn looked away. Deep inside, he knew she was right. The next morning, pieces of enemy ships rained from the sky like dark snow. Terran cleanup drones collected the wreckage. No. Alien lives were lost in the colony. But something else was gone. Trust. The people now understood the truth. Earth didn't come by mistake. Earth didn't wait for permission. Earth didn't protect them out of kindness. It protected them because now Elros 9 belonged to Earth. In a quiet corner of the command center, Wren reviewed a final message sent by a Terran AI. Signal origin verified. Raids predicted. Territory secured. Uplink complete. Colonists unaware of full takeover. Recommend. Phase 3. Wren tapped the console once, then said, Begin Phase 3. Asterisk shockwaves across the galaxy. The battle was over. The skies above. Elros 9 were clear again. But not because the enemy had won. It was because the enemy had been erased. The stars had returned. But now, they felt like they were watching. Inside the colony's main square, people whispered about what they had seen. Terran warships that didn't move, yet destroyed entire fleets. Drones that scanned every corner. Soldiers who never spoke unless needed. And a voice that declared safety. Like it was a warning, Tarn stood in silence, watching the massive black Terran banner hanging over the town's main tower. No words. Just a red Earth symbol, sharp and cold. What have we welcomed into our home? He whispered. Far away, on the other side of the galaxy, the Galactic Council received the footage. An old ambassador named Vuro watched the recordings with wide eyes. His hands trembled as he leaned forward. Terran railguns. Energy bursts. Instant. Kills. No hesitation. The footage ended with a single line from Earth's broadcast. Earth answers all calls. Peace is enforced. Silence followed. Then a younger counselor stood up. They were just responding to a cry for help. Voro turned to him. No, they were waiting for one. The room went quiet. The council had once ignored Earth. It was too distant, too silent, too proud. Now, Earth had entered the game. In the outer systems, news spread quickly. Terran warships in Elros 9. Pirate fleet destroyed in under 2 minutes. No negotiations, no permission, just action. Small empires began to panic. Pirate lords burned their maps and changed routes. Smugglers stopped flying anywhere near Terran-marked space. Others, more desperate, started planning revenge. Back on Elros 9, Aya walked with Tarn through the farmland. Fields that once grew food now had towers planted in them. Terran-built communication beacons. This land belongs to your people. Tarn said softly. Aya didn't answer. He stopped walking. Will you give it back? She paused. Then looked him in the eyes. No. Tarn felt cold inside. Then say it clearly. You've taken our planet. Aya shook her head. We've taken responsibility. And you're alive because of that. Is that what Earth calls peace? It's what Earth guarantees. That night, a broadcast from Earth's High Command went live across dozens of border systems. A deep voice spoke over black screens. To all species, you've feared war. You've feared pirates. You've feared chaos. Now fear order. Earth has entered the stars, not to beg, not to follow, but to respond. Your cries are heard, and we answer with fleets. On Elros 9, a young alien child looked up at the dark sky. One of the Terran drones floated silently above the roof, blinking a red light every few seconds. The child asked there, Mother, will the stars ever be safe again? The mother held them close and whispered, They are now just not ours anymore. In hidden places, across enemy worlds, new conversations began. We must stop Earth before it grows stronger. We must unite or be ruled. And so, the galaxy shifted. Lines were drawn. Fleets were moved. But everyone remembered one thing. The humans didn't come by accident. They came the moment someone asked for help, and they came with fire. Asterisk. A new order. The colony of Elros 9 no longer looked like itself. The homes were still there. The crops still grew. But nothing felt the same. Terran towers now rose taller than the village walls. Armed trolls walked the roads. Human drones flew overhead in perfect patterns, watching everything, always silent, always present. To the people of Elros 9, it felt like being watched by ghosts made of steel. Tarn sat in the old council hall. The room was nearly empty now. Many elders had stepped down, some in fear, others in shame. Only Tarn remained. The doors opened with a soft hiss. Y entered. Her helmet was off now. Her expression was calm, but unreadable. Tarn stood up. So this is it? Aya nodded. Yes. The paperwork is complete. Elros 9 is now a protected Terran colony. You mean a captured one, Tarn said, his voice low. Aya stepped forward. We protected you when no one else did. At the price of our sky. Aya didn't argue. Instead, she placed a small black device on the table. It lit up with a soft red glow. What is it? Tarn asked. A planetary command node, she replied. You can monitor your own world through it. But it reports to Earth. He stared at the device. So we're allowed to look, but not touch. You're allowed to live. In peace. That's more than most get. Outside, in the colony square, a ceremony began. Not one of celebration, but one of declaration. Terran banners were raised. On every building, black and red. No sound but the wind. Human soldiers stood in formation, silent, still. Then a voice came from the sky broadcast from orbit. By Terran command, Alros 9 is now secured. All former Council jurisdiction is void. Peace is enforced by Terran fleet authority. Resistance will be treated as rebellion. The people of Alros 9 listened. No one cheered. No one clapped. They only stood. And accepted. Hours later, Tarn walked with Aya through the colony gate. Farmers had returned to work. Children played quietly, watched by drone cameras. Terran engineers helped rebuild bridges and repair power systems. Why help us now? Tarn asked. You already control us? Aya answered without turning. Because Earth doesn't just conquer. Then what do you do? We secure. And after that? Aya looked up at the sky. We move on. Tarn stopped walking. You'll leave? Aya nodded. Eventually. And when you do? She looked him in the eyes. You'll be strong enough or smart enough not to call us again. In orbit, inside the Terran flagship TSV Vanguard, Commander Wren stood before a massive screen. Dozens of red dots showed Terran fleets moving into position across newly protected colonies. Some dots blinked slowly, still quiet. Others blinked fast, already under attack. Wren turned to his staff. This is the future. No debates, no delay. The Council waited too long. Earth doesn't wait. A young officer asked, what if they fight back? Wren answered coldly. Then we remind them what happens when you call Earth. Back on Alros 9, Tarn held the black command device in his hands. He looked at his people, tired, scared, but alive. He raised his voice. This is not what we wanted, but it is what we have. They listened. No one came for us when we cried. No one except Earth. And Earth does not ask. It acts. Some nodded. Others lowered their heads. Tarn finished with one sentence. From this day forward, we live under a new order. That night, the stars shone again, but they were no longer the same. Each one now felt like a watchful eye, because Earth wasn't just a planet anymore. It was a presence. Asterisk. The price of help. The fields of Alros 9 were green again. The fires were gone. The ships no longer fell from the sky. Children laughed in the distance, and machines hummed quietly in the farms. On the surface, life had returned to normal. But underneath that peace, something had changed forever. Tarn stood on a high hill, watching a Terran gunship rise into the sky. The last wave of human engineers was leaving, at least from the ground. The orbital fleet still hung above the clouds, silent like stone giants. Behind him, Laro approached, holding a basket of fruit. They're going? Laro asked. Tarn nodded. From the streets, but not from our sky. Is that good? Tarn didn't answer at first. Then he spoke softly. They saved us from destruction, but they saved us for themselves. In the center of the colony, the Terran command tower remained. Even after most humans had left the surface, the tower glowed with a steady red light. It controlled the drones. It listened to every message. It saw everything. Aya remained, one of the few still walking Alros 9's ground. She now wore light gear, her helmet off, her eyes distant. She met Tarn by the river. It's quiet now, she said. It feels fake, he replied. She didn't argue. Was this always Earth's plan? Tarn asked. Wait for someone to call, then move in? Aya picked up a rock and tossed it into the water. The galaxy always thought Earth was silent, that we were hiding. But the truth is, we were waiting. Waiting for what? For the day we wouldn't need permission. Across the stars, the Council scrambled. Emergency meetings were held. Old leaders resigned. New voices rose, demanding action. But none could agree on what to do about Earth. Some called for peace. Others whispered of war. But all feared the same truth. Earth had changed the rules. On Elros 9, small things reminded the people they were no longer truly free. One day, a local merchant tried to send a message to a friend off-world. The system blocked it. Another day, a council speaker tried to gather a vote to remove the Terran banner. The lights went out in the chamber. It stayed dark until the vote was cancelled. No violence. No threats. Just quiet pressure. That was the Terran way. Late one night, Tarn sat outside his home, holding the black command device. He stared at it for a long time. Then he asked, "Was it worth it?" Aya, standing beside him in silence, replied, "You're still breathing." Tarn nodded slowly. "Yes, but now we breathe under someone else's sky." Far above, Commander Wren stood at the edge of a wide viewing window on the TSV Vanguard. He looked down at Elros 9. One of his officers approached. "Sir, another colony just sent a help signal. Outer ring system, same pattern." Wren didn't move. He only said 2 words: "Send fleet." Back on Elros 9, the people looked up at the stars. They no longer saw freedom or wonder. They saw watchers, guardians. Maybe but guardians who never leave. Guardians who come when you cry out and never ask for thanks. And so, the galaxy learned a final truth. Calling Earth for help was never free. It didn't cost gold. It didn't cost land. It cost ownership. Because when Earth helps, it takes everything under its shield, including your sky, your silence, and your future. Asterisk.